Not only me, but my family and others that I love. I have been shot at. I've been poisoned. I've been infected purposely with bacterias that don't exist together. I had a man come at me who was going to try and kill me with his fists. And he came at me. There were others there too. As he was swinging at me, I just stood there, and something invisible grabbed him, threw him to the ground, bang, down he went. And he looked up at me and started screaming at me, "What did you do to me? What did you do to me? Ah!" I said, "I didn't do anything to you." And nobody touched me. Nobody else had the nerve. I'll tell you, that man was in pain like you wouldn't have believed. There had to be an angel there, threw him down. I didn't touch him. The swing was coming right at me, and something grabbed his arm, and down. He couldn't move his arm. When he was down on the ground, his arm was still out. The fist was still there. I've traveled from coast to coast from 1995 for 10 years, ministering, preaching, baptizing. In my 38 years of preaching, I've actually baptized approximately 1,000 people. I've preached from California to New York, from Washington to Florida, from Minnesota to Texas, all over the country ministering. And I can't believe the places I've been, the things that have happened, casting out devils, all these things going on. And I look back on it all, and how the Lord saved me so many times. In a hospital emergency room, 2 hours from death, they told me, facing 4 surgeries with a temperature of almost 103, going into the operating room. And I didn't know if I was coming out, and I didn't care. I thought, well, it's up to the Lord. I wasn't afraid. I've seen visions, I've had dreams, I've prophetic and so forth. And you know, and really, looking at what the Apostle Paul, every so often I'll get a letter saying, "You're another Apostle Paul, you're another..." No, I'm not. There isn't even a comparison. I haven't been beaten with rods or whipped, 40 stripes, save one, 5 times. No, 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 no. But they say because of my conversion and the strong stand that I take against evil. But I do know what it's like to be stabbed in the back multiple times. I do know what it's like to have your character assassinated. I know what it's like to have lies told about you and spread like wildfire and have people rise up against you. And the people you help the most are the ones that stab you the hardest. I've had that happen a lot. But you know what? You keep going, don't you? You keep doing it. You keep taking it. Oh, thoughts had gone through my mind. I'll never be nice to anybody again. And the next time somebody comes along needing help, okay, you're right there for them. We all do that, don't we? So the Apostle Paul gave us this advice. And here he gives a list of some of the things that he went through. And I marvel at that man. But now, while I have only a few minutes left, let's look at his last hours. His final exam before he went on into glory. And I'm in 2 Timothy, and we'll be doing a study on this in depth very soon in our Wednesday night service. But in 2 Timothy chapter 4, he exhorts Timothy to preach the word, be faithful in the word, and so forth. But then he says in verse 6, "For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand." He was writing this from a jail cell at the Lamartine prison. No, not the one over by Fond du Lac. The Lamartine prison in Rome. I don't think Lamartine has a prison, do they? Yeah, that's the other side. And so he was in this prison with the cold walls and the cold floor, and must have been a terrible place. It's not like these modern places, you know. These prisons, you'd never want to go in there. If you ever got out, you'd never want to come back. No, they didn't have any color TV and recreation centers and buffets or anything like that. He said, I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. He's examining himself here. Henceforth, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day. And not to me only. There's no selfishness here. He's just saying, I've got this. I'm looking forward to this because God promised it. This is coming my way. But unto all them also that love his appearing. Then he says to Timothy, do thy diligence to come shortly unto me. Listen to his last requests. This great man of God who had suffered so much. He didn't care about himself or his own comfort, really, except minimally. Here's what he's asking for. He says, do thy diligence to come shortly unto me, for Demas hath forsaken me, having loved this present world. His good friend